Okay, so continuing on our theme of making more money, the next one we spoke about yesterday about entrepreneur, about seeing internally what you can do to make money out of what you do already in areas that you might not have recognised that you could actually exploit. Well, today we're going to talk about find the need and fill it and some examples of that, how that's happened for people. I mean, Thomas Edison once said, I never perfected an invention that I did not think about in terms of the service it might offer others. I find out what the world needs and I proceed to invent it. It's as simple as that for somebody like that. I mean, if you're wired up like that, you get it straight away. You have to be wired up like that, but you can program yourself like that as well. So many of the most successful people throughout history have identified a need for the marketplace and provided a solution for it. Jeff Bezos, Amazon. And yet he only started out in his garage as a bookshop. Alibaba, Google. We'll talk about eBay in a minute, how that was founded. You'd be amazed. Yet most of us have never asked what's needed or what's even possible. If your dream is to earn more money, either with your own business or in addition to your job, identify a need that isn't being met and determine how to meet it. It's as simple as that. Whether it's turning a website in a particular group of collectors, providing a unique education for people who need rare or unusual skills, or developing products or services to address emerging trends that you see in society, where needs always can be filled and create a business and service around it. I mean, there's a lot of inroads into virtual assistants now, and people are actually coming up with businesses that provide virtual assistants. So there's a new way to exploit the situation and actually help people with a need that they need to be fulfilled, because they don't necessarily need a full-time person to do the job, but they need support and help now and again. And virtual assistants are ideal for that. Many of the former met needs are inventions and services that now we take for granted. But the fact remains that people discovered the thing that they needed in their own life and stumbled on the need for others, then created the gadgets and services we actually enjoy today. Typical example, the baby jogger was invented by a man who wanted to go jogging with his child and the care responsibilities. When he created it for himself, he soon saw it was in demand for everyone else. And as a result, that's how the baby jogger came about. Did you know that eBay, the world's largest online auction service, was born in 1995 when founder Pierre engineered a way to help his fiancée trade Pez candy dispensers. It was as simple as that, and eBay was founded. Avon decided that its direct selling approach was ideal for the newly emerging Russian democracy, where Avon representatives could not only act as a personal beauty consultant to Russian women, but were unaccustomed to wearing cosmetics, but could also serve as a delivery outlet at a time when retail infrastructures were practically non-existent. Internet dating services were invented when smart entrepreneurs matched the desires and busy schedules of single people with a computer technology that was sitting right in front of them 8 to 12 hours a day. Killed disco, though. I'm upset about that. After 26 years, Nicholas Woodman's marketing company called Funbug failed in 2002. He decided to travel around the world surfing. In an effort to capture his surfing activities on film, he captured in a 35mm camera. He actually attached it to his palm of his hand with a rubber band. You know what's coming next, eh? Seeing the amateur photographers like him who wanted to capture quality action photos of their activities and difficulties because they couldn't get close enough to the action or weren't able to purchase quality equipment at affordable prices. He was so inspired, he founded, you guessed it, GoPro. His solution was to develop a belt that would attach the camera to the body, and then his future wife financed the business by selling her shell necklaces from their car, paying £1.90 in Bali and selling them for £60 in California. That's dollars, by the way. Eventually combining the proceeds with money borrowed from his mother and father. The original cameras and developers who had evolved into the compact waterproof digital camera that supports Wi-Fi can be remotely controlled and is affordable on the average action sports enthusiast. In 2004, He made his first big sale when the Japanese company ordered 100 cameras at a sports show. Sales have doubled every year since then, and in 2012, GoPro sold 2.3 million cameras. How many do they sell today? Probably way beyond that now. That same year, a Taiwanese contract manufacturer purchased 8.8% of the company for $200 million, which set the market value of the company at $2.25 billion. Marking Woodman, who owned the majority of stock, as a billionaire at the age of 38-year-old in 2012. Where do you think he is now? In the early 1970s, a German forest manager made an interesting discovery. He caught in an avalanche. He owned a survival for him. He owned his survival to the dead game he was carrying on his shoulders. Since then, it allowed him to remain on the surface of the snow. Experiments with volunteer cameras, canisters, and balloons followed, and the idea of an avalanche airbag was actually formed. In 1980, Peter Onsras, after first-hand experience with an avalanche, acquired the patent and founded the company ABS Peter Osweier, GmbH, and started to develop a system that allowed avalanche victims to gain sufficient increase in volume within seconds without obstructing their ability to move. In 1991, the documented survival rate for the airbag-equipped skiers in avalanches has been 255 out of 262, or 97% survival rate, because of this airbag that he developed. The company now has sales in 25 countries. In 2012 and 2013 season, they reported sales of 20,000 units, each of which retails for about $1,000. It's probably a lot more now. What need could you identify? That's the key here. Need is literally everywhere you look. It doesn't matter where you are, a college student seeking a summer in income, a housewife wanting to earn an extra $1,000 a month to make ends meet, or an entrepreneur looking for the next big business opportunity. There's always a need. You could be making an opportunity to make something serious and make serious money. I remember Gino Benedetti, Nicola Benedetti's father, who was the entrepreneur. I remember sitting with him and him showing me certain things that he had used. And one of the things he used today is the cutter for the cling film. Now, I remember it was probably 25 years ago that I actually watched him do that and said, this is what I've just patented and developed. And it was the instant cutter for cling film and also tinfoil to cut it straight away without you having to rip it. And he developed that 25 years ago and patented it. No wonder he's a millionaire. Not really sure if Gino Benedetti's still here. But he was a great guy. Really full of ideas and full of vigor and wild about everything. Really switched on. Fresh ideas make like a multimillionaire born. Mike Millerian was a salesman of a label company who needed to make a few dollars a month. One of the biggest customers was the TGI Fridays restaurant chain, a sophisticated operation, looking for a fail-safe way to mark their stock and ensure employees use the oldest perishable foods first. The process called food rotation. I mean, before the meeting, Mike, they used to actually use tape on or markers they had bought in order, and then just wrote colored dots and stuff like that, and posted on maybe a chart on the wall or anything, and a red dot equals Wednesday and blue and so on and so forth. Their biggest problem though is the adhesive didn't stick to the wall coolers. So Mike actually invented what was called day dots. This was a food rotation program and a fail-proof system a fail-proof system of wee coloured dots on the day that imprinted right in the cold temperature and actually worked perfectly and didn't fall off. And as a result, it went on. Today, Mike's company mails 3 million catalogues a year and prints over 100 million day dots a week. Mike saw a need for what was wanted right throughout the restaurant industry, which helped him work diligently to fill it. Day dots was even evolved into a manufacturing food distribution safety, as well as a cold temperature dissolvable and removable dots and label solution. 13 years later, Mike was approached by a 4 billion Fortune 500 company that purchased day dots for tens of millions of dollars, all because he saw that opportunity. Linda and Ira Densfield. in the 1990s began looking for the next adventure of their life. They'd been successful in the civil servant's job and wanted to make a change. And after looking at the marketplace, all the products and services available, the one service they couldn't find was a budget-priced legal work. So they came up with the idea of there's some standard documents that are always there day in, day out. And they come up with the idea of, I tell you what, we'll just pre-write these documents, we'll sell them to people for maybe typical bankruptcy costs and stuff like that will cost $1,500. Well, we could do a simple, or a divorce will cost $3,000 to $2,000 or $5,000. Well, we'll do simple service documents, which we can sell for $399 or less. That service would then demystify the legal process and explain the customer's options every day in a non-legal language. And as a result, today that husband-wife team have more than 150 offices in 30 states and have served over more than 500,000 customers in the last 10 years, with as many as 60 different kinds of legal services. Can you imagine the amount of money it's made out of that as a result at $400 a pop? The possibilities are endless, remember. Do you see something you want or need in your life? What about a need you're longing or an aspiration in the lives of others around you? Is there something that needs to be provided, solved, addressed, or eliminated? Is there something that you find annoying that could be alleviated if there was some gadget or service to solve that particular problem? Do you share a common goal or ambition with others in your industry, a social circle that you could achieve if only someone could provide a system or a process for achieving it? Do you enjoy certain activities that would be even made more enjoyable with a new invention or service? Look at your own life and ask what's missing and what would make it easier and fulfilling. And that's the key to everything. It is as simple as that. It's right in front of you. Think about Jeff Bezos. You know, he just started Amazon because he was wanting to sell books from his garage. And that's how it all began. Think about other processes as well. Look at Richard Branson, classic example. Virgin Atlantic was founded because Richard Branson found himself stranded at an airport when his plane was cancelled to go to America. And as a result, he got all the other passengers together on that plane and he got them all to put money in and chartered a flight to actually take them to America just so he could get there as well. And that one idea set off in motion Virgin Atlantic just because of that one need that he had to fulfill. And these are all things round about you day to day. So tomorrow we're going to actually talk about ideas. It will think outside of the box. And I'll see you tomorrow.